Cuida tu Modern English,
or CTM English,
a podcast of two English teachers who became friends after moving to Chile.
We share real-life entertaining stories of our experiences in Chile in a conversational way, so you can gain exposure to native pacing with the extra support you may not be able to get through the usual forms of media.
So you can learn intermediate to advanced English from anywhere in the world. We also do a short vocabulary review at the end to help the new words stick.
So grab your coffee, wine, or piscola, and let's get started.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are proudly presenting
¡Concha tu madre!
¿Qué te pasa, concha tu madre?
Concha tu madre.
Concha tu madre. Concha tu madre. Concha tu madre.
Váyanse a la concha de tu madre, chuche su madre.
Cuida tu Modern English.
Happy 2025.
Woohoo! I'm excited.
Yay!
I'm excited for this not to be one of the last 4 years.
You're excited. Yeah, just for a change.
Right?
a shift in energy.
Oh my God. So here's my idea for today. I can ask you some questions and we can share whatever, our background, our stories. And then at the end, we can ask the audience specific questions to hear and engage our learners a little bit more and to get to know everybody a little bit better.
That sounds good. I like that. I like the interactivity. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so question number 1. Do you participate in the New Year's resolution tradition?
I have before. I am not the best at sticking to New Year's resolutions, especially because often I'll do really vague things like be healthier or read more or something like that. And I often don't follow through. I am doing something different this year. I saw a trend on TikTok, which is a bingo board where you do a lot of basically you create a bingo board that's a 5x5 grid, and each square has a different kind of small goal. Some of them might be like more difficult to reach and others are a little bit easier, like finish a book. And then you try to get bingo before the end of the year. And if you get bingo, you might treat yourself. And I feel like that's more up my alley because I'm really bad at sticking to goals. So I want them to be like really specific, smaller things.
Gamified.
Yeah. And also gamified.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the reality is it's like there's so many scientists have studied motivation, and the more that you can gamify something, it is way more motivating.
Definitely. Yeah.
I don't even think, honestly, I don't think Duolingo is that motivating, but I will say that for the first time in my life, I'm over 100 days right now, and it's like, which isn't even a lot, but I feel like I'm so proud of myself because I was like, I've never stuck with anything for 100 days in a row.
Definitely. I think it's that with Duolingo also, because we're friends on Duolingo. And then I know
we have a streak.
We have a pretty, how much, our streak is like 38. 40?
38? Oh, I thought we were in 40 now. I think it's like 43 or something.
It's like 43. Because I have you and Jorge as my two friends with a streak. And
that's amazing.
It's like, I think that also the social element is motivating, because when I think of the most I've ever worked out in my life, I was living very close to a friend within walking distance of her house, and we both would go to this kickboxing gym. And she was crazy. She would like show up at my house at 6 in the morning, like
Oh
knock on
my
the door and be
God.
like, Maggie, let's go to kickboxing. And I would literally only go
Oh my
because of
God.
her.
Are you serious?
Like, I literally have no drive. I would only go because she would show up at my house.
Oh,
And that was, I could actually do like push ups and stuff.
oh.
That was insane. I'm not in shape anymore.
Man, I'll tell you, like, okay, 12 years ago, I almost crossed the line into diabetes too. And I had this amazing doctor that kicked my ass, and she like pulled out this needle in our session, and she was like, "Do you want to learn how to stab yourself in the stomach every day for the rest of your life? Because if you don't get your shit together," and I'm not kidding you, she said that, like, if you don't get your shit together, you are going to have to stab yourself in the stomach every day to pump insulin into your body. And I was like, okay. But like a lot of people don't like it when doctors speak like
Like
that,
scare
but
tactics.
I
Yeah.
loved it. No, I loved it because it actually worked. Like it freaked me out so bad. I was like visualizing myself doing that, and I was like, oh hell no. And so I did the paleo diet for like 6 months straight. It was incredible. I don't know how the heck I did that because again, I am not great at discipline normally. And I was in the middle of my junior year of university, so it was extremely stressful.
Oh my God.
But
Yeah.
somehow I did it. Yeah, and I worked out a lot, and it got to the point where I remember there was I started at the beginning of the summer, and my goal was for the end of the summer to be able to do at least one pull up unassisted. And that might not sound like a lot to men. However, uh, women have less upper body strength and more lower body strength than men. And so it's the opposite in men. Men have higher upper body strength, lower body strength is not so much in comparison to women. So it's really interesting. So to be able to do a pull up as a female is really incredible. I like started out with I think 90 pounds assistance, which is not great. It's super easy. Like it's really easy. And then every week I just kind of like went down 10 pounds of help. And by the end of the summer, I did 5 pull-ups on my own. And I was like, oh my God. And like
Damn, nice.
I'm telling you, now I could not do that. There's no way I could do that. So anyway,
No, sometimes we need
speaking
a
of
wake up call
resolutions.
or a kick in the pants. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, what
Yeah, or a
about
friend.
or a
Or a
friend?
friend that shows up at your door at 6 a.m.
Yeah, she was a little more gentle, but yeah, are you a New Year's resolution person?
I am in a way. I recently, as in the last like 6 years, have started doing something. It's not necessarily a resolution. It is a one word to meditate on for the whole year.
I love that.
And yeah, there've been a lot of the years, like I would say the majority of the years, I hit like 6 months of being able to do it. But there have been like the non-majority of those years where I just wrote in a journal one day the word and what it meant, and then I never opened that again. Oh my God.
And what
I
kind
think I've had
of,
one.
you don't have to say it if it's too personal, but like what's an example of a word that you've meditated on?
Yeah. Okay. So one of them one year was actually, as I said earlier, I'm terrible at discipline. And so I wanted to get better at discipline. So I just meditated on the word discipline, and I had a really good year.
The irony of needing discipline to meditate on the word discipline is also not lost
Right?
on me.
I I love that. I never even thought of that. That's so funny. But I mean, I have discipline for those kind of things, I guess. Um, and actually recently Jose was laughing at me because not laughing, but he was actually saying that he was in awe of some of the things that I've been doing because he was like, there is no way I could be that disciplined. And I was like, I don't even feel like it's that disciplined. But maybe that's because I come from like classical music where you have to be super disciplined every single day.
Definitely. Like you're comparing yourself with people that are extreme.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. So it's been interesting because, to sum it up really quickly and this is very reductive, but in 2020 was the pandemic that started, 2021 I moved to Chile and my dad got diagnosed with cancer. 2022 well, yeah, I will say in 2021, it was like I moved to Chile and then it was right in the middle of the first full shutdown that they had. So that was really stressful. Finding a job and like trying to make it all work was really stressful, but it was fun. There was definitely like some good parts of 2021. 2022 is what it is. I can't really say.
Can't say anything
Like,
positive.
I mean, there was a lot of really cool things that happened that year, but because I mean, I got to explore Chile and stuff like that, and it is, what it is. But 2023, I moved back to the U.S. and had to move in with my mother, and being 37 years old at the time is just really demoralizing is the word I'm looking for. And then having to literally dig myself up out of that and then raise enough money to buy a car without a car, very stressful to do.
Especially in the US. In
Yes.
like where you live, I feel like people might not understand, but like where you live, it's super difficult to have like a job and independence if you can't drive.
Yes, exactly. Like we don't have public transportation that even remotely resembles anything in Latin America. Like I love when Chileans complain to me about the public transportation because I was like, you have no idea how good you have it as far as that goes specifically. So long story short, 2025, my word is going to be arise.
Arise. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any associations with that word, or is it just a feeling? Arise.
I do. Before I was stuck in this understandably never-ending depression from how difficult it has been just to survive the last 4 years. But I'm finally in a place now where I have a steady job, I have steady income. I am dealing with car troubles at the moment, but it's okay because I know that it will work out. And I finally have been able to clear enough mental bandwidth to begin to start about things like my health. And it's time for me to get back to who I was before the pandemic happened in a way. Of course, you can never go backwards, but I miss the person who I was in the sense that I used to meal plan all the time. I used to work out all the time. I really took my health very seriously, and I haven't been able to do that for the last 4 years because I've been stuck in survival mode. So I am now arising from survival mode.
Nice. Yeah. You're like post Dark Night of the Soul. You're coming out of it. I like that.
The sun is rising.
Yeah, I was imagining like a phoenix, actually. That was my visual.
Oh, okay.
That was my visual for you.
That's me. That's me. Mm-hmm.
You know what's interesting? I've done a one-word meditation before, and I always go for the word present because I feel like for me personally, I'm very much like always in my mind, and a lot of my kind of anxiety and stuff like that comes from being in my mind. And
Uh-huh.
I had this realization, like, whenever I'm present, everything is okay. Like, whenever I'm
Yeah.
actually listening to my body, I know how to be authentic. I know how to
Yep.
make the right decisions. And even if I make a mistake, I feel less regret because I know that I made that decision from an authentic place. And usually,
Yep.
like, the most that I regret things is when I did something while not being present or out of fear or because I
Yeah.
was worried about
Yep.
what other people thought. And so I always go for that word for
Yeah. I
present.
like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I think I just honestly realized the extent of what that means
Mm.
in the past probably, I don't know, year and a half, because it's like you're right. You can totally get stuck in there. It's really bad. I am the world's worst overthinker.
Oh, same. It's a disease. Yeah.
I know, it's funny too because Jose is also an overthinker, and so we constantly have to stop and tell each other like, "Are you overthinking again?" That's great. I love it. Okay, how about this? One New Year memory that sticks out to you the most.
Ooh, a New Year memory. I would say, I'm thinking, I feel like I would have to say spending the New Year in Chile and just watching the fireworks go off. Because right now, where I live, right next to the ocean, you can see them set off fireworks like right next to. Uh, actually, this is funny. So this year and last year, both years, I saw the fireworks, and they do a fireworks show right next to where I live, and it's really beautiful. The year before that, I was visiting the United States, and the cheapest flight was to fly back on New Year's. And so I was actually on the airplane, and at midnight, everyone was counted down and said, 3, 2, 1. And everyone was like drinking a lot of wine. And I feel like a lot of the people on my plane were pretty drunk. So that was also a memorable New Year's, but it was not necessarily fun because it was like an 8-hour flight. But
Yeah, I know that flight is, ugh, ugh.
it's a drag.
It is a drag,
But yeah.
especially because you're usually well, I'm always in the back.
Yeah, I'm on like the middle seat in the back. What about you? What's a memorable New Year's?
Okay, so my most memorable one was when I was a server, and I worked at this bar that was like a game, like let me put it this way, they had soccer games on TV and what do you call those things? Oh my God, sports bar.
I was about
It
to
was a
say, was
sports
it a
bar.
sports bar?
Jesus, Lord help me.
That's so
Okay,
funny.
so I used to work at a sports bar, and um they were going to do a free champagne toast for everybody in the restaurant, but you were supposed to tell them by like 10 or 11 o'clock that you wanted to participate. And so I went around asking all my tables, do you want a free champagne toast? Blah, 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 blah. This one table of like 12 people all said no. All of them.
That's suspicious.
Okay. Very suspicious, because you're literally hanging out at 11 p.m. at a sports bar. Like, what are you doing? So, anyway, all my other tables said yes. And so I get champagne flutes to all the other tables. And then I'm walking by, and this person pulls and tugs on my shirt sleeve and says, hey, we changed our minds. We want to do it. Okay. So I'm like, I'm going to kill you guys. And I just said, well, I will try, but there's no guarantee I'm going to get back here by, by midnight. And somehow, like, I ran over to the bar, and they were smart enough to pre-prepare some glasses. And so I put 12 champagne flutes on a tray, and I'm trying to like get my way through all of these people that are standing around, not paying attention to the servers, getting in our way, and making it very difficult. And the way that I used to do that is I would do this thing, and all of my coworkers used to laugh so hard at me because, but I have to say, it works. Okay, so don't judge.
What was it?
In order to get people to move the heck out of my way when I'm working, I would go, "Excuse
You would say excuse.
me." Yes.
I thought you were gonna say like
And
I made a fart noise or something. I don't know what I thought you were gonna say.
No, but I did it really quietly for the microphone because I don't want to kill everybody's ears. But in the restaurant, it was very piercing. So everybody would immediately turn around and look at me and realize, get the heck out of the way. So anyway, I did that. The countdown begins 10, 9, right? And these people moved out of the way. I run to the table. Somehow it's like 4 seconds. I'm handing out all of these champagnes to everybody, trying not to spill them. And this jerk comes and scoots his chair into me and causes me to like tilt the tray. And there was one left, and I literally, as it was twisting, you hear 2, 1, and it was mid-air falling to the ground, and I grabbed it with my right hand, and I looked right at him, and I chugged it, and I slammed it back down on the tray, and I looked at him, and I said, "That was yours."
No. That's good. Damn. I was hoping that it was gonna spill on him, actually, because that's the kind of spiteful person that I
Right.
am. But I feel like this is better. I feel like that was the better.
Yeah, because I just thought it was so funny because I was so stressed out, and I was like, you know what? I think some champagne would do me some good right now.
I think so. I think that's deserved.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was funny.
The audacity.
Yes.
That's so funny.
Yep. Good times. All right. Are you ready to have a pop quiz on New Year's traditions around the world?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be. I might know some of them because
I really hope so.
I have had a couple classes where we talked about New Year's traditions, but I'm sure that there are some that I don't know. So
Cheater. I'm just kidding.
I
Okay,
Right.
I will be honest. I don't know any of these. So, and I also, just so you guys know, I have not even read this, so I have no idea as well. Yeah, this is live reaction for both of us.
Perfect. Okay.
But I guarantee I probably don't know any of them. Okay, so number 1. In Spain, as the clock strikes midnight on New Year's Eve, people either A, make a wish, B, eat a grape, C, blow out a candle, or D, take a sip of wine at each of the 12 chimes.
I think it's B, eat a grape, because a lot of people in Latin America eat 12 grapes. So I would imagine it came from there.
Oh my God, I'm so impressed right now.
Oh,
I had
I
no
think
idea.
I'm gonna kill this quiz because
Oh, man.
I literally had an English class where I taught about some traditions. Okay.
That's amazing. I
No,
love
I feel
this.
better. I thought you were gonna quiz me about SMART goals or something. And I was
Oh,
like,
no.
fuck.
Lame. Just kidding. Oh, nobody wants to hear about that. I'm just kidding. Okay,
I
number
actually
2.
did that this year.
Oh, you
The
did?
12 grapes. Yeah.
Oh,
That was
that's
my first time
awesome.
doing it.
Oh, that's fun. I love grapes. Que rico. Okay. Number 2. In which country do people wear polka dots and eat round fruits on New Year's Eve for prosperity in the upcoming year? A. Portugal. B. Paraguay. Depending on where you're coming from.
Paraguay.
There you go. Papua New Guinea is C. Or D. Philippines.
You're going to think I'm cheating. I swear
Oh
I'm
my
not. It's the
God.
Philippines.
I am so impressed. That's amazing.
Yeah, the round circles represent prosperity, which is interesting. I didn't know that before teaching that class about it.
That's
So
cool.
it's kind of funny. Yeah.
Okay, here's one that I am like, what? Because this one is in the US and
Oh.
I had no idea. I don't even know what this is. So maybe you do. Maybe you can explain to me what this tradition is that we have here in the US that I know nothing about.
Probably not. We'll see.
Okay, number 3. Why do many people in the southern United States eat Poppin' John, a dish made with black-eyed peas, rice, onions, bacon, and salt on New Year's Day? A, for good luck and prosperity in the new year. 2, to bring friends and family a peaceful year. 3, for a healthy and long life. Or 4, to use up the previous year's leftovers.
Ooh. Okay, that's a good one. I like how I knew about the Spain and the Philippines, but I like don't know about the US one.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
I feel like, okay, my gut is to say A.
Also, do you like how I switched from letters
A
to numbers?
2. I was like, I'm gonna not comment on that.
My ADHD does it again.
Okay, I might regret this. Part of me wants to say A, but I'm gonna go with C, with the third one.
You are full of regret. It was A.
It was A. No, this is I need to smooth brain it. This is presence.
Smooth brain. Such a good
that's my life motto.
word.
Smooth brain.
Yeah,
Bimbo.
I like it. I love it. All right, number 4. We got 6 of these. Okay. Number 4. Which are customs that many people in Brazil take part in to ring in the new year? A, wear a completely white outfit. B, run into the ocean and jump 7 waves. C, throw flowers into the ocean. D, all of the above.
I have no idea, so I'm gonna say D.
You are correct for $500. We have a winner.
Woo! This is just test taking strategies. It was the first, all of the above, had to go for it.
Okay, so you have to wear a white outfit, run into the ocean, jump 7 waves, and then throw flowers into the ocean. You know, starting to sound like a religion to me.
I was imagining a wedding, but yes.
That too. Yeah, for sure. That's crazy. All right, number 5. What occurs in Japan shortly before midnight on New Year's Eve in order to welcome the Gregorian New Year on January 1st? A, people light a candle to honor their ancestors. B, people run through the streets banging pots and pans. C, Buddhist temples ring their bells 108 times.
Damn.
I would be so mad. I'd be like, I'm gonna sleep. I'm an old lady.
Yeah, because there's also a lot of old people in Japan.
Right? D, people change into new clothes and shoes.
I feel like that's hard. Maybe I feel like D is too boring. C is too chaotic. What was A again? I forgot.
A is people light a candle to honor their ancestors.
I'm gonna go with B.
People run through the streets banging pots and pans.
Yeah, I hope. That's not it.
Buddhist temples ring their bells 108 times.
Wow.
Dang.
So I'm definitely gonna visit Japan on Christmas when everyone's eating
Yeah,
KFC
right?
and not on New Year's.
For real, though. Okay, number
Nice.
6. In which country do they eat, oh wow, kransenkagi? Kransenkage? I don't know how to pronounce that, but it is a wreath cake comprised of concentric rings of cake layered on top of each other. A, Russia. B, Iceland. C, Germany. Or D, Denmark.
What was the name of it?
Trust in this. Okay, I'll spell it for you.
Okay.
It is KRANSEKAGE. Kranskag? Kranskagi?
Kransenkage. Is it Iceland?
It is Denmark.
Denmark. I was like, it's giving Germanic language,
Yes.
but it's not
Yeah.
giving. Oh, so I should have chosen Denmark, not Iceland. Yeah, but it wasn't giving Russian.
Yeah, no.
Damn.
Also, I just had New Year's here with my adopted Venezuelan family, I guess you could call them. And they went like all out, of course, and had like these balloons that said 2025 on them. And we had to take pictures in every single formation that you could possibly think of, like me and Jose, me, Jose, and his sister, me, Jose, his sister, and his parents, like each, and then every single variation of that, right?
I love that. That's so funny.
And of course, champagne toast. I kissed Jose at midnight, but I didn't see anyone else do that. So I don't know if that's a thing or not. I know it's a thing for the US.
People here didn't. Yeah, I was in the Mirador and I tried to kiss. Well, Jorge was like distracted by the fireworks, and I was like trying to get my kiss, and no one around was kissing, and I was like, not to be crazy, but I feel like we have to kiss.
Yeah. Yeah, it's another superstition thing. Yeah, it's supposed to bring good luck, whatever. I'm pretty sure people just invented that so that they could hook up on New Year's. Anyways, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, literally.
But oh yeah, so his mom asked me like, is New Year's celebrated? Is it like a big deal in the US? And I said, honestly, I think it's a big deal when you're a kid. I think it's a big deal when you're like early 20s because you get to go out and party for yet another reason.
Yeah, it's kind of a drinking holiday for young people.
Yeah, and then once you hit a certain age, you're like, okay, that's cool, great, and it's nice to set goals and stuff like that, of course, but I don't know, maybe it's just me, but me and a lot of my friends, we just went to bed, and my Venezuelan family just woke me up when it was like 5 minutes beforehand, and so I was like, okay, great. I'm an old lady. I just want to go to bed. But I don't know. Maybe it's different. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree. I feel like I used to be excited for New Year's when I was like in college.
Yeah.
Like I would always go to a party. I think because Christmas is a more family oriented holiday.
Yeah.
And so then New Year's was always like either if I were visiting my friends in DC or if I were with people in Chicago, it was like a very social kind of go to a party with your friends. I also think in the US, for some reason, we really associate it with glitter.
Mm-hmm.
So I know here I've seen more people wearing white or like yellow. People wear yellow underwear in Chile for New Year's.
What?
Yeah, it's supposed to give you like good
Oh
luck,
my
I
God.
think. And you know what? I also found out that one of my students told me that for Christmas, it's really common, like in your stocking or whatever, your family will give you yellow underwear. And the idea is that you then wear it on New Year's.
Oh my God.
So like people basically receive yellow underwear like for the purpose of wearing it for New Year's.
That's so funny. I like that. That's hilarious.
Which makes sense because I'm like in a normal situation, like I don't have any yellow underwear.
Yeah.
Like in a normal situation, like I would need to receive it as a gift to then use
Yeah.
it. Like I don't think it's easy to find. But in the US, we really associate New Year's with like glitter
Yeah.
a lot. Like it's an excuse to wear glitter
Yeah.
also.
Absolutely. You are correct. Okay, so our number one question to the audience is asking to share how your country celebrates on our social media. So, in case you don't know, our social media handles are just
TikTok, it's CTM_English. And then for Instagram, it's CTM_English_podcast.
there we go. Also, it's probably going to be in the notes of this show. I
Yeah.
think that would be really interesting to hear about. Okay, reflecting on the past year. So, what is one thing that you're super proud of, one achievement that you're super proud of over the last year?
So we're answering the questions, and then the people listening are going to answer them on our social media as well.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Ooh, I'm kind of proud of a lot of achievement. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm proud of a lot of achievements over the past year. I think one thing is that I started making videos on social media a year ago, and I think that I was receiving a lot of information at first, and kind of a lot of people DM you that are marketing people, and a lot of people give you unsolicited advice. A lot of people you know in real life give you advice. And I, of course, think it's helpful, you know, to have other people's opinions, but I think I really tried to be as authentic as I could and just to kind of continue to listen to myself. And I didn't take any shortcuts or like try to do anything to gain followers that didn't feel authentic to me. And I feel like I was able
Yeah.
to get success like in an authentic way on social media. And I feel like that felt really good. And I think that's an accomplishment.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like that I just wasn't really expecting. And it's not something I was looking for in the beginning, but when I kind of started to notice it happen, I kind of ran with it. And I feel like that felt really good. So I would say that's an achievement that I'm proud of.
Yeah, it's hard to stick with something like that in because you know, in this day and age we're so fascinated with or obsessed with the idea of instant gratification. And you're not getting paid for any of that at least up front
Yeah.
for the first like forever.
Yeah.
And so so it's really, I can imagine it would be really really difficult to maintain the motivation to do that. But obviously, it does help in growing your business and all of that kind of stuff. So, and it's fun. It is fun.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just feel like now I really feel like I spend my days doing what I want to. I mean, some days I have a lot of work and I feel stressed because I'm behind on emails and that, but I can honestly say that I choose how I spend my time and I like it. And I feel like that is the biggest achievement for me personally.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that.
I'm curious, what is your biggest achievement from the last year?
Getting up every morning. No, I'm just kidding.
Honestly, there's a whole spectrum of not every year is going to be a big transformative year. Some years it's like, damn, I survived.
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
that is like good enough.
For sure, for sure. No, I would say this is actually one of my proudest achievements over the last 4 years is that I made a very difficult jump into the world of technology. And, you know, when I was in Chile, it was really difficult to find any kind of software development jobs. One, because all I had experience with was a boot camp, which is kind of like a joke um, in software dev world because there's just it's so much information. There's no way, like you see these advertisements that say, "Oh, you can become a software developer in 30 days or 90 days," and it's just a joke. Like there's no way. And so not only did I do that, I have stuck with it for the last 3 years, and it does not come naturally to me. I am a creative, ADHD, right brain, type person. I'm extremely creative, but when it comes to logic, I was not great.
I feel that's so hard. I'm like the least logical person.
And here's the thing that I really want to stress about this is there's so many people and what we are told about learning and passion is totally wrong. So think of that, in the beginning when you first start studying English, you're motivated kind of because you're like, "Oh, I want to learn all the new words." And then you hit this plateau where it's grammar. You're just like you're just like, "Why?" And it's so hard to get over that plateau. But the more that you understand it, there you hit a point where you begin to understand the grammar, and then it becomes fun again. So passion doesn't necessarily have to be the goal. Speaking of goals, the goal is to understand things. And so I got my first job in tech, and I'm not software dev yet. I do the IT help desk, but while I'm at work, I'm at a school, and so I have so much free time. Like if I did not have the project that I started on my own, I have no clue what I would be doing. Like so I decided once I got settled into the job, I started to see the faults that were going on in the processing of things. And so I decided I was going to build a program to get around those things, those issues. And I have been working on it ever since. And it's just been a great learning journey. I finally can say that I feel comfortable enough that I think I could do this. I know 3 years is a long time to be studying something, but let me clarify. I was not studying software dev this entire time. There were like months there where I just didn't even touch code at all.
I also think it's something where I don't know, it's one of those things where it's a field that is really hard to get into. There's just a lot of content. It's not like, I feel like getting into some fields, you can maybe take a year-long certification program or something like that. But I do feel like software development seems like something where you have a lot more to learn than that. Yeah.
Right. And when the pandemic hit, I wasn't the only one that realized I need something that's pandemic proof and I like stable. And so I feel like half of the world also jumped into software dev at the same time and did the same thing that I did. And so the competition is freaking fierce, like right now. And I mean, think about this, my boyfriend has his master's degree in computer science and he has over 15 years of experience and it took him like, well, I guess he didn't have his work authorization until later, but so it took him at least 6 months to find a job, which is insane.
Yeah, definitely. Like there's a lot of people that are really qualified.
Yeah.
So that's awesome though, that you kind of you got your foot in the door maybe this past year.
Yeah. And honestly, like I hated it at first. I hated software development. I was like, why did I do this? I am terrible at this. This is not, I don't understand anything. Like this is awful. But I kept with it because I knew and I am very tenacious when it comes to learning and understanding things. I'm like, I have to do it. It's so stupid. I don't know why I'm like that.
No, but that's a good mindset because I honestly feel like everything, I mean, if you dedicate yourself to understand something,
Yeah.
like, you can understand it. It really just is like, how much are
Yeah.
you willing to like focus on that? Like, there's no grammar topic, for example, in English that it's like, oh, I can just never learn a conditional because it will never make sense to me. It's like,
Yeah.
if you force yourself to understand, if you like really are motivated, like you can understand it at some point.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's really crazy because the logical side of my brain has grown. I'm not even kidding you. It's I can feel a difference. And I mean, obviously not physically, but like w- people people have noticed. I'll put it that way. Like I did not feel like a smart person or like before this. I mean, yeah, sure, I was quote unquote talented with cello and piano and all of that stuff, whatever. But I worked hard at that my whole life. And so it didn't really feel like I was smart. It was just felt like, okay, I worked hard, whatever, you know? But it really has shaped so many things. And I feel like I can actually think better now. Don't
That's
know.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain that, but I'm predicting things that I've never been able to predict before. Like they're probably very common sense things to most people, but they weren't to me before. So I was always stuck in La La Land, like, oh, that's pretty.
No, definitely. I like just being in touch with yeah, like being in touch with the here and now. And I mean, I guess that's neuroplasticity, you know, just you like you can
Yes.
still develop any part of your brain that you want to. If you're always in stress
Yep.
mode, you're going to be, you know, using that
Yep.
part of your brain.
Yeah, for real. And like the passion has definitely come now. It's like I actually look forward to my work every day because I cannot wait to get my hands back on that code. and and I never thought I would be saying that.
Definitely. No, that's what you're saying. I totally see, not because I am a programmer, but because Jorge is. And I see such a, like, he used to work in a more administrative job and he just really did not have motivation for his work.
Mhm.
Like, it just was not his thing. And seeing now, like, how much he, like, enjoys going back to coding, you know, and you can
Mhm.
really tell too because he's working on his own schedule. So I think that it makes it even more obvious that it's like
Yeah.
he actually wants to go back to it. So I totally see that. It's like very
Yeah.
motivating,
Yeah.
rewarding, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with your own projects. Like, yeah, I can see how it would be. I don't know. I did work for like 6 months as a software dev while I was in Chile, remotely, and that was amazing. It was very difficult because it was my first job and various other reasons. But I do remember, even though I didn't enjoy the project that I was working on, I enjoyed being able to complete those projects and have like a sense of pride that I could do that. I was like, "Oh my god, I can do that." What?
Definitely. Yeah.
So, anyway, there's that. So,
Nice.
listeners, please, we love hearing these positive stories. There's so much negativity in the news right now and for the last who knows 10 years. And so I love to hear people's stories about, you know, coming out of bad situations, being able to achieve something, any kind of like overcoming of challenges or like New Year's resolutions that you've stuck with. I would love to hear those stories.
Definitely. We love like a warm and fuzzies, feel good story.
Yeah, we all need that right now. Sorry, negative Nancy over here. Debbie Downer.
Give us that positivity.
Yeah. So is there another name? Like we have negative Nancy, we have Debbie Downer. There's got to be another one. I don't know. Probably
Um
not.
oh, I feel like there is, but I don't know.
Okay.
Um I just was, I don't know why my brain was like lame Larry, but that's like not a thing. Like,
What?
don't know
Oh
why
my
I just
God, I
said that.
love that. I love that. I love that that just happened. Okay, last question. What are you looking forward to this year? Or what are your predictions for this year?
Ooh, okay. Let me think. This year, well, I have my friends that live in Chicago are visiting me, so I'm looking forward to that in the immediate future.
Ooh, are those the friends I met?
Yes,
That's so cool.
exactly.
That'll be fun.
They've visited me before too, so it's like their vacation,
Aw,
their
I love
yearly vacation.
that.
But this time we're gonna try to go to Pucón, because in the past they just came here to visit, which
Yeah.
is totally nice and fun. But like, I feel like they should see the south of Chile,
Oh my God.
or the near south
Yeah.
of Chile,
The northern south of
the northern south of Chile.
Oh my God. Okay,
Um,
I'm gonna have to send you some, like, you gotta
yeah,
do some
send me
stuff.
some
Oh my God.
recommendations. Definitely,
I love
I would love
Pucón.
that.
Pucón is amazing.
I would love that. So that's like immediate future. And then I guess in general, I have the idea to like write and read more. I feel like I really I feel like I really want kind of what we're talking about with the logic and everything. Like I have recently been wanting like more studies and research to kind of like back up like what I have experienced
Yeah.
in class, because a lot of my content is based on that. But I'm really interested more in like reading and writing, and I don't know, excited about doing more of that.
Yeah, that's
this
awesome. That
coming
was
year.
actually one of my goals last year, was to read more, and I felt like I was falling behind. And then my friend was like, "You know that audiobooks count?" And I was like, "No, they don't." And she was like, "Yes, they do." And I was like, "I don't think so." But then she like convinced me, and she was like, "You know what? Not, it's like more of a accessibility thing, because when you're super busy and you're running around, like you don't have time to read so much." And so I did read some physical books, but I mostly completed a lot of audiobooks.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I'll probably do a combination too, because I do a lot of podcasts, but I want to
Yeah,
do more
for
books.
sure. I think this year one of my goals is to journal more. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And what are you looking forward to? Or what are your predictions? I still have to think about my
I know, right?
predictions.
I'm looking forward to finishing this project that I created. I cannot wait to see other people using it and hopefully it working.
Nice.
I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to how much I'm gonna learn about software dev and things, because I've I've just really come a long way with it over the past 3 months, so I can't wait to see where I go with it. And I'm looking forward to hopefully getting back to my former self, like putting my physical and mental health as the number one priority. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Arise.
So cheesy, but whatever.
No, I like it. I'm thinking of what predictions I have. Manifesting. I predict that I'm gonna move. But I
I'm
say
like,
this every
I'm
year.
pretty sure I remember you telling me, like, when I was leaving Chile, that you were going to move out of that apartment.
It's just because also like here I'm paying like below market rate. My area's good. And also I would need to kind of like, I don't know, some places ask for like specific things like that I don't have as a
Yeah.
foreigner. So
Yep, I remember.
it's just annoying, but I'll probably just stay here. But then I'm
It's hard to
manifesting a move though.
for sure. You got this.
I got it.
I feel like when you finally do, you're going to like, you love it even more so because of staying there so long.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not used to staying so long in this. I think this is the longest I've ever been in one apartment, because in the US I would move like every year.
I know, me too. Me too. It's true. I predict, I don't know. I predict that I'm going to get a new, very nice car.
Ooh, I predict that for you too.
Manifest it, manifest it. So, to hear and engage our learners a little bit more, what are you looking forward to this year? What are your predictions for this year? Let us know on Instagram or TikTok. You can also email us at cuidatumodernenglish@gmail.com. We really do actually want to read these, so let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Maybe we can read them out on a future episode if anyone sends us something interesting.
Yeah.
I saw someone say that 2024 felt like being awake during surgery.
Oh my God. It's so true. No, thank you. I'm glad it's over.
But yeah, so happy start to 2025. Let's make it a good year. You're already making it a good year by practicing your English with us.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Hey there, language learners. If you're enjoying the podcast and want to support what we're doing, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/ctmenglish. We offer free episode transcripts to all Patreon members, so you can follow along and learn even more. We also have a $1 paid tier if you want to support the show and get a member shout out in our future episodes. And for just $5 a month, you'll get exclusive bonus content, 3 to 4 pieces of unfiltered audio or video every month that you won't hear anywhere else. So head over to patreon.com/ctmenglish to see all the ways you can support us and get extra content. Thanks so much.
Hello, listeners. It is now time for our vocabulary segment, so get ready to review.
Welcome back. I hope you are ready for our vocabulary review. We had a lot of phrases and idiomatic expressions in this episode. So, one that I said was to follow through. And I said this because I don't usually follow through with my goals. And to follow through is a phrasal verb. It means to complete an action or commitment that you started. It's often used when discussing personal goals or plans. For example, it's hard to follow through with new habits if you're not motivated.
Yes. And if you have ADHD like me, it's literally one of the worst things ever.
There's no follow through.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Okay, so the next one is to treat yourself, which always reminds me of the show Kimmy Schmidt, The Untouchable or Unbreakable, The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Untouchable.
I don't know. The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. And they're like, treat yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, but in this example, Maggie said she might treat herself if she gets bingo. So to do something special for yourself as a reward or an indulgence. For example, after a long week, I treated myself to a nice dinner.
It's a good expression if you buy something to not feel any guilt about it. You can just say, well, treat yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Another expression that I said when talking about bingo, I said a lot of things while talking about this bingo, was up my alley. So I said that bingo is up my alley compared to just making a regular New Year's resolution. If something is up your alley, it means that it suits your interests or preferences. So, for example, you could say, this new book is right up my alley because I love mysteries.
Yes. A wake-up call. Cut.
I thought that was going to be the explanation.
Right? Okay, so Maggie said sometimes we need a wake-up call or a kick in the pants. And this is basically an event or realization that motivates someone to change or take action. For example, the health scare was a wake-up call to start exercising. Or for me, it was a wake-up call when the doctor told me to kick my own ass if I wanted to not get diabetes.
Yeah, and am I just making this up? Or I think to get a wake-up call comes from when you're in a hotel and you ask the reception to call you in the morning. Like you get a wake-up call. So that's what I think. Like that
makes sense.
It's also called a wake-up call, but it's more literal and not figurative.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like it.
Another word that came up was awe. And you've probably heard the word awesome before. So this is actually the root of this word awesome. When Jose was in awe of some things that Layla was doing because of the discipline it required, this meant that he felt a deep respect or admiration for something. For example, you could say, I was in awe of her ability to juggle work and family. In the same way that you would say, it's awesome that she can do that.
Yeah, I'm in awe of the way that Maggie can come up with really good examples and reasons why things are the way they are in English.
Oh my God, thank you. I'm blushing.
I'm blushing. You can't see it, but...
You can see it.
Okay. This is a very interesting word. The next one is when I said it was demoralizing to move in with my mother. And it's basically when something causes you to lose confidence or spirit, motivation, those kind of things. For example, failing the test was demoralizing, but I'll try again. Moving in with my mother was demoralizing because in the United States, we have a culture that looks down on people who have to move back in with their parents. It symbolizes a failure or a lack of success usually. But I feel like in our new economy post-pandemic, it's becoming more and more normalized, which is great.
Definitely. We have to kind of shift from feeling demoralized because it's more normal now.
Now it's even more interesting because I have to tell people that I've moved in with my boyfriend's family, which is, I feel like, even weirder.
Yeah, I think like during the podcast you were saying my Venezuelan family, and I'm like, do people think it's like a host family or something?
Yeah, I was like, my adopted family. I don't know what to call them. It's like we're not married, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about in English. Like it's either your in-laws or nothing. Like there's no middle ground.
There's definitely no middle ground. It's kind of weird, but anyway.
Another phrase that Layla said was mental bandwidth. And if any of you guys work in English, you might hear in a US corporate environment people always using this word bandwidth. But Layla said that she finally cleared mental bandwidth to focus on her health and new habits. And this is the capacity or energy available to handle tasks or challenges. For example, I don't have the mental bandwidth for another project right now. I don't have the capacity.
Yeah. Okay, the next one is it's a drag. Talking about the infamous 8.5-hour flight from Santiago to Chile. Fail. Okay, we said it was a drag. So something that is a drag is boring or unpleasant. Fome, in the words of Chileans. For example, filing taxes is such a drag. I will say there was one time I was going to Chile. So I think I was going from Dallas to Chile, and I got sat right in the middle and next to a 10-year-old child who when he fell asleep on the overnight red-eye flight, he was drooling and snoring all over me.
Oh, no.
And his mom was like 4 rows ahead, constantly turning around and checking on him. And I was like, he's fine. Like, él está bien, él está bien.
You should have charged a babysitting fee.
I should have. I asked her if she wanted to switch rows, and I think she was just trying to be really polite. Like, no, it's okay. And I'm like, either she was being polite or she was being manipulative.
She was like, no, you can have him.
Yeah, could have gone either way.
When Layla was talking about the New Year's, when she chugged a guy's champagne, this word chug came up. And to chug is to drink something quickly and continuously. And we often use this as a chant in English, like chug, 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 while someone is drinking a beer very quickly. But it's not only with alcohol. You could say he chugged his water after the run. But this is a good one to note if you are in any sort of English-speaking college environment, especially.
Yeah, actually, it's really funny because it's like bro culture, the I don't know, jock bro culture.
Like fratty, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I always say it to make fun of that culture when they would also be saying it. So I don't know if people think I'm participating in the culture or if they realize I'm making fun of it. I don't know. Either way.
Yeah, definitely. I've had that a lot where it's like my irony goes so far into the point where I start doing something earnestly. And I'm like, I guess this is part of my personality now.
Yes, it's like people here, they would say diabetes. Like there's a certain, I don't know, dialect of people here in the US that say diabetes instead of diabetes. And so I said it wrong so many times, I started saying it that way for real, but I couldn't change it. It was so bad. That's so bad.
So funny.
Yeah. Okay. The next one is piercing. This can also be used in a way that's like, you know, I got a piercing the other day. So not to be confused with that. The example that we have is talking about when I said "scusi," because it was very piercing, which means extremely sharp or intense, often used to describe sounds or looks. For example, the baby's piercing cry woke everyone up. You could say an opera singer's voice is piercing, and that kind of reminds me that when I do the "scusi," I'm doing it because I studied to be an opera singer for a while. And so that is where that originated from. I knew that people would hear it over all of the noise and ruckus, which just means it's a lot of noise at once, a lot of different noises. And so I used that really piercing sound. It reminds me also of my sister when we were kids. She would tell me, "Hey, Layla, I have a secret." And I would say, "Okay." And I would get my ear really close to her mouth because she was going to whisper. And then she would just yell in my ear, "Dagger voice." And the first part of it pierces your eardrum so bad. It hurts.
Oh my God. That is very younger sibling
Rude.
Vibes. Yeah.
Rude. She was the older one. I'm the younger one.
No, but I meant like being a victim of an older sibling vibes.
Yeah, totally. What a jerk.
Yeah, totally.
So
I think
now
it's
you know.
related though. Like getting a piercing is because they literally are piercing, like stabbing something sharp. And so like when your sister yelled into your ear, it was like stabbing your eardrum.
Right. And which is why, so dagger is another word for like a short knife. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's literally like dagger voice.
Oh my God.
Now I really hope people don't stop listening to that after that terrible piercing sound.
Yeah. I hope that you guys are not traumatized by the dagger voice.
Awesome.
I used the word spiteful when I said that I was being a spiteful person when I hoped that the champagne spilled on the customer when the guy knocked into Layla. And spiteful means that you're acting with the intention to hurt or upset someone, often out of resentment. So, for example, her spiteful comment ruined the mood. So in that case, me just hoping something bad would happen to this guy out of resentment that he did something was spiteful.
All right, the next one is one of my favorites. It's to smooth brain it. So I think our example was like when, I can't remember exactly when it came up in the podcast.
Yeah,
You
I should have
remember?
included. I didn't write it.
No, that's okay.
I don't remember what I said. But it was about like not wanting to like think too hard about something.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So it's like a humorous or self-deprecating way to say that you're simplifying something too much or not thinking deeply. Because if it's kind of like this idea that you get wrinkles from how much information you have in your brain. So if you don't have wrinkles on your brain, you're really not intelligent and you're just really not thinking very deeply. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. I use this phrase a lot when I want to just like not think too hard about something or not overthink. Like I'm gonna smooth brain it.
Yeah. Yeah. For example, I totally smooth brained that quiz and got the answer wrong. Oof. Yep. I do that a lot.
Then when we were doing the quiz and I said that one of the answers, which was the wreath cake, was a word that was giving Germanic and not giving Russian. This was very internet slang of me. This is a phrase used to describe the vibe or an impression that something gives off. So, for example, you could say her outfit was giving vintage Hollywood, or his shirt was giving rebellious teenager. So it's kind of like, what is the vibe that it gives off?
And just so you guys know, I literally just learned that. Because
really?
Yeah, because the whole phrase is it was giving blank vibes. And so I think maybe it's just cutting off the word vibes and shortening it.
Yeah. Now people just say, oh, something that cracked me up was that on TikTok, there was this guy that walked by a big sign during Thanksgiving. And during Thanksgiving, it's really common the phrase, it's giving season, like meaning the season for giving. Like it's the season that we should give to others. And because it's so common now, this like internet slang of like, it's giving this, it's giving ugly, it's giving cute. He walked by the sign and was like, it's giving season instead of it's giving season.
Oh my God. That is ridiculous. It's totally just cutting off the vibes because like every one of those scenarios, it's totally giving off the vibes that it should be saying vibes.
Yeah, definitely. I think that it is like that was
that's crazy
origin, probably just cutting off the word and only putting the thing of the vibes that it gives off.
Well, not to toot my own horn, but the next example is not to toot my own horn. So Maggie said this when she didn't want to brag about her accomplishments, but had positive things to say. So it's a way to introduce self-praise when sounding modest, quote unquote. For example, not to toot my own horn, but I did a great job on this project.
And I guess it's because like toot toot is like a sound of you squeezing your own horn. I don't know what the
Yeah.
origin is.
I don't know. I guess I never thought of that. That's funny. Maybe because, oh, you know what? I don't know why, but I just thought of this. Like, so remember way back in history when like a king was going through the crowd or was coming into a room, they would have the horn players that would like announce that the king was coming.
Yeah.
I bet
like,
that's kind of where. Uh-huh. So maybe tooting your own horn is like giving yourself that praise of like, I am the best.
You're like, here I come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We also call people who do this humble braggers. Like to humble brag is like to talk. I mean, it's literally just bragging, but it's like the people that take a selfie in the gym mirror where they look really ripped and like really good, but their hair is a little messy and they're like, messy hair day.
I've never done that.
Like they're pretending like they're not bragging. But have you seen? I feel like I see people
No,
do
I'm
this.
totally
a lot.
being sarcastic.
That went whoosh
Right over the head.
my head.
You were
Yeah.
smooth brain in that one.
I smooth brained that remark. Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
I used a lot of idioms in this episode, which is funny because it didn't
Yeah.
feel like I was doing it at the time. But I also said that you got your foot in the door when you were getting experience in the tech field. So, like, getting your first job in that field was getting your foot in the door.
Yep.
And so this is to gain an initial opportunity that could lead to greater success. For example, internships are a great way to get your foot in the door. And I think the idea here is if a door is closing and you're like, ooh, I need to go hold it open for myself, you might slide your foot to catch it. Like you don't let the door close. You like just put your foot in there to give yourself a little opening.
So when I was talking about developing my logical side, I said that I was previously always stuck in La La Land. And I love it because a lot of my friends will change this and say, ooh, you are stuck in Lily Land because my nickname is Lily. Or Lele
That's so
Land.
funny.
Layla, whatever. Yeah, they change it all the time. It's really fun.
And could you say what it is?
Oh, wow. That would be on the next page, guys. So speaking of logic, not to toot my own horn here, but my logical side has obviously come a long way. All right. So it means to be lost in imagination or unrealistic thinking. For example, he's stuck in La La Land if he thinks this will be easy. So there's also a movie called La La Land. That was actually pretty cool.
Yeah. And I remember when I was growing up in Washington, D.C., there was a wealthy neighborhood that was kind of in the middle of nowhere, and it was called Lafayette Park, and people would call it La La Land because it was in the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
That's cool. I just know that, like, oh God, what is his name?
Ryan
The guy
Reynolds.
that,
Or no, not Ryan. Oh my God.
right? I did the same thing. I literally just did the same thing. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Ryan Gosling, not Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Gosling. He practiced piano 4 hours a day to be able to play most of that stuff on his own.
Oh my God. He's such a king.
I know. And that was like in addition to the hours that he was prepping and acting and shooting scenes. Like, what? That's super impressive.
That is really
As
impressive.
a classical musician, I was like, really? Like, hey, man, I have to give him respect because that's hardcore.
Props to Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
That's not
usually
Ryan Reynolds. I keep saying Ryan. I've been reading a lot about the Blake Lively,
Ryan
Ryan
Gosling.
Reynolds.
Gosling.
Props to Ryan Gosling.
Oh man, that's funny.
I may us all have a year like Ryan Gosling and not like Ryan Reynolds this year?
I don't know, man. Ryan Reynolds is killing it. I'm on his phone plan.
On his phone plan?
He owns like this phone company. It's called Mint Mobile.
That's so
And
funny.
yeah, it's actually here we go. We need another like ad payment here. But I pay like $130 every 3 months, which for unlimited data,
Yeah.
which is not bad. That's usually what people pay here, like for every month,
Yeah. Okay, Ryan Reynolds. Maybe I want a
right?
Ryan Reynolds here.
Right? I don't know. It's pretty crazy, but anyway.
And that's all we have for the vocab review. It was quite a bit, so definitely get out your notebook and pencils and write some of them down. Try to use them in your next conversation. And our next episode is going to actually be the part 2 of intercultural dating and relationships. So,
Ooh la la.
yeah, ooh la la. If you haven't heard the part 1, listen to episode 6. The next episode is going to be the part 2 because we have so much to say about that topic.
Yes. Dun 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 dun. dun.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to add anything.
I got nothing. I got
Okay,
nothing
perfect.
else.
I was like, I'll just blab.
Just remember, practice doesn't make perfect. Intentional and mindful practice makes progress. And that is way more important.